guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I am checking out 10 culture shocks I had inside an American home. As a Slavic girl, we have checked her channel out before. Her links are in the description as always, but please wait till after this video to go and check her out. Let's get into it. I'm excited. We've done a few culture shocks, I guess, on American homes in the past. We haven't done one in a very long time, so I'm hoping this is going to have some new information, some new shocks. Yeah, let's get into it. What have we got?
Oh my god, that feels like heaven. I cannot believe I'm cold in Florida, but I am. I can just go to sleep like this.
I love a blanket.
Hello everyone, I'm Anna, Slavic girl living in America. And today I'm gonna share with you 10 culture shocks I had inside American homes. First one is probably gonna be the most life-changing and important. Clothes dryer.
Okay.
I just can't imagine going back to doing laundry without it. I just can't even tell you how much time it saves. In Russia, we have to wait at least a day to get the laundry done. Here, it's done in a couple of hours, and I always forget to check it when it's done because I'm just not used to it being done so fast. I'm used to waiting a day for the clothes to dry and then you have to iron everything, and oh my god, it's such a pain. I just absolutely love it. It's like the best thing ever. I don't understand how it comes out so perfectly unwrinkled. It's just magic. And of course, I've never had a warm blanket out of the dryer in my life. My first blanket out of a dryer. Oh my god, it's so warm. That feels like heaven. It's so fluffy. I cannot believe I'm cold in Florida, but I am. This feels so good. I can just go to sleep like this.
I love
this
a blanket.
Amazing.
I also love using we call them a tumble dryer. Yeah, they do save a lot of time. A lot of time.
Google clothes dryer in Russian. This is what comes up. This
so
is
we
not
do
a
have
joke.
those too.
This is for real. We use drying racks to dry our clothes or just dry them on the porches. This is very common. Clothes dryers, we don't have them at all. I'll tell you the reason why. While not mentioning that it would be too much of an electric bill for Russians, they freak out when they have to use ACs in the summer. They will suffer until the end, until they just can't take the heat anymore and turn it on for a couple of hours because it's just too expensive. This would just put them over the edge.
Sense.
But that's not the only reason. The main reason is our electric circuits are not designed for it. Basically, if we would just plug the dryer in, it would blow everything up.
Oh wow.
So, to be able to use something so powerful, we have to change...
Would that be like the volt? Like the I'm talking a bit technical here, but I feel like we've had that similar thing when we've been sent American like electrical things. It's not been the right power outrage, I think. I'm saying that right.
The entire electrical circuit that also costs money and more problem, something Russians just don't want to bother. They don't even understand it, they don't even trust it, they don't even consider this option. And I don't know why, because this is such an amazing thing. It really is in a mindset of people. They just feel like it's too much. Which brings me to my next point. Electric ovens. Same thing with those. Our electric circuits are not designed to manage this type of power. In order to install an electric oven, we have to change everything in the kitchen, all the circuits, even get permission to do that sometimes. Personally, I've been using a gas oven my whole life. Coming here and finally using an electric oven, it is such a big difference. The baking is so much better because the temperature is equal in each part of the oven. Everything just bakes so much better, rises better, and doesn't burn. Also, ovens here are super big. I'm not used to the sizes, and it's so cool that I can actually bake 2 pies at the same time. Just before I left Russia, we got a half and half oven, meaning
Oh.
the oven itself was electric and the stove was still gas. I personally didn't understand why we had to go through this. Why not just get electric
All or
everything?
nothing.
But
Yeah.
of course, oh, it's gonna be too expensive. We can't afford that. Gas is really cheap. While we were installing it, they didn't close it up very good and it started leaking and stinking
that's
up
not
the
good.
entire house, which tells us that there is a problem. They
Yeah, that's
actually
not
didn't
good.
want to come and check. They were like, oh, no, this is normal. For a few hours it might stink. That's not a big deal. But it's not true. It's actually very dangerous. We
Yeah, it
had
is.
to push it for them to come and check it, and they were like putting soap on the pipes and everything to check if it bubbles, and of
Oh,
course
wow.
it did. This could kill someone if you're not careful. They fixed it, thank God. Now let's talk about central AC. Oh my god. We only have wall units in Russia and we have to install it in each room
Okay.
if you want each room to
I've never
be
seen that
air
before.
conditioned. Otherwise, everyone comes into this one room that has AC and we just chill there. Not everyone can
I
afford
guess
to
that's
install
like we mainly have like freestanding fans where I guess they have them on the wall.
AC in each room, and that's what ended up happening. Having one system for the entire house is amazing. You just set the temperature. No, that's better. And it equals out all rooms at once, and this is so cool. I love it. The only problem is we fight for the temperature because everything is
Yeah.
like too cold for me. My spouse likes it at 70 and this is like freezing cold. Freezing cold. I just can't handle this. And yes, everyone's like, you're from Russia. What do you mean? Why are you so cold? You can't be cold, you're Russian. That's right, I forgot about that. Now suddenly I'm not cold. Thanks to this central AC, I am wearing a sweater inside the house in Florida, even when it's 90 degrees outside. Also, Russians believe that if you sit under AC too long, you're gonna get sick. In Russia, I didn't get to use AC very much. Here, I'm learning to live with it 24/7. Next, overhead showers. In America, almost every house has this overhead shower that you cannot move, and this was a culture shock for me. I am used to handheld showers that are adjustable, and that's kind of what every Russian home has.
So I feel like both are very common in the UK. We actually have both. We have an overhead shower and we have a handheld one. On the same like frame, I guess. Yeah, both are very common in the UK.
Unless they don't have a shower at all, which also is kind of common. I personally can't imagine not having a shower at all, but some people don't even bother installing it. They just take baths. They don't even have sinks most of the time. They just do everything in a bathtub, wash their hands there, and well, take baths. So that's why my spouse installed this shower specially for me. Also, one thing that I noticed about American bathrooms that I couldn't put my finger on what that was, but they look so neat and so perfect. And I figured it out. There are no pipes shown. In Russia, we have all our pipes out, even the hot water, everything is out there. We don't hide them in the walls. And you have to be careful if you take a hot shower and touch that pipe. Ouch.
Ooh.
That burns.
That's
but
dangerous,
here,
isn't
everything is hidden and everything just looks so neat and tidy, and I love that. Almost every American household has a coffee machine. This is so normal and common here that it's not considered a luxury like it is in Russia. In Russia, it is more like a status symbol. You show a person that you are wealthy enough to afford a coffee machine. This is
They're
definitely
expensive. I'm hoping to get one in a few months because my new obsession is iced coffee. But they are expensive.
Not an everyday item. We mostly use French presses or instant coffee most of the time, which I cannot stand. But I personally use French press. Even here, like, we have a coffee machine, but it's like, why brew a whole pot for just 2 people? And French press is kind of faster. I don't know, that's just what I'm used to. But I love coffee machines too. It's very cool because they can stay heated up, and it's very cool when you have guests over. This one is also super life-changing. Garbage disposals in the sinks.
Yeah, this is a cool
I
one.
don't want to go back to not having one, because let me just tell you, we just have this drain plates covers after we wash our plates with all the pieces of food and everything that's left over ends up in this drain, and you have to empty it and throw it in the garbage. And this is the grossest part of doing dishes in Russia. I couldn't stand it. Here, you just dump everything inside and push the button and it's gone. Super easy and convenient. So yeah, we throw all the leftovers and stuff in the garbage or in our toilets, which is incredibly bad for the water system. So in Europe, people came up with something more eco-friendly, which I don't know if you heard about it. This is something called vermicomposter. It's a French word. It's basically a box full of worms. And
I never heard of
you
that.
feed your worms with leftover food, which is super environmentally friendly. You just basically feed your worms. This doesn't pollute the water system, doesn't end up in the garbage where it cannot be decomposed. It is super good for the environment, but also kind of weird and gross. But then, of course, worms procreate and you end up
lots of
with
worms.
more and more worms. And like, what do you do with them? Well, you just sell them to other people who want to help the planet. I think I'd much rather install a, garbage disposal. So one time we stayed in an Airbnb here and I couldn't figure out what was making this creepy, scary, ghost-like noise at night. I was just terrified. I was like, what is that? What's going on? And then I figured out that it was coming from a refrigerator. And it was an
noisy
ice maker.
The ice
I
maker.
really started thinking we had a ghost in our Airbnb, but no, it was just making ice. I've never seen an ice maker in Russia. I mean, I'm sure they might sell it, but it would be probably too much trouble to set it up and hook the pipes and everything, since we don't hide anything behind the walls. But Americans really, really love ice in everything. In Russia, it's absolutely normal to serve drinks without any ice, but here every drink, everything comes with ice. Even at home, you've gotta have it. Even for like injuries, we don't use ice, we use like frozen vegetables. And of course, while we're talking about the kitchen, I've also noticed that Americans really love having lots of gadgets. And let me tell you, I do too. For example, food processor is one of my favorites. Making soups became so much easier, making cutlets is so much faster. I mean, we mostly grate everything and always cut everything by hand, and all the appliances are not super common, probably because it's too expensive. Not a lot of people can afford that. You would probably find all that in like rich people's homes for sure, but it's not common at all. Here, finally using all these different appliances has made cooking for me so much easier. They have like your own ice cream makers, air fryers, mini ovens. It's just very interesting and so cool. And last but not least, overhead fans. I don't know why, but every Russian is super fascinated by them because we don't have those at all. I have been on the phone with my spouse constantly like looking at them. I don't know, it's just so neat looking. Now that I'm here talking to my family and friends and it's showing on the background of my phone, they're all like, oh my god, like, why are you running it even when it's cold? I'm like, well, because it's for air circulation. Believe it or not, it works and it helps. It really efficiently cools down the room just so much faster with the fan
I think
on.
I would like one of them.
So those were my culture shocks.
That was good. Lots of different ones on there. Things, you know, like not everybody talks about, so it is good to hear everybody's opinions on it. Let me know in the comments below your opinions on any of these items. Do you feel like as Americans you could live without them? Or like you could never live without them? Let me know in the comments below, guys. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.